What's up, guys? Tonight we're going to do story time by the fire, but not really. We're not gonna tell any stories. I'm not really a good storyteller, but I'm gonna talk about something pretty serious tonight. I just thought the fire was a nice touch, kind of lighten the mood a little bit. But um, this is definitely a very serious topic. This is something that I see kind of glazed over sometimes. I mean, you see it vaguely mentioned online, and I don't think it's something that necessarily needs to be on social media all the time because it's kind of personal from person to person. So I totally understand that, but at the same time, it's definitely something that happens all the time. Just about every single person in the physique industry, whether they compete, whether they live, just live the lifestyle, even powerlifters, strength athletes, um, to some extent. I mean, anyone in this realm is probably going to be able to relate to this to some extent. And this might ruffle some feathers. This might sting a little bit. Um, might be a reality check for some people. I don't know. This is something that I don't like to intervene with a lot with my clients. I'll definitely maybe give an opinion on it. And when I say that, it's a non-biased viewpoint. I'm taking emotion out of the equation, and I'm giving an opinion on a situation. Where somebody might not be able to think clearly, but I'm stopping it there. That's about the extent of it. Because it's not really my business at the end of the day. And what we're going to talk about is relationships and family and friends and all those things and how it's affected by this industry, by competing, by living this lifestyle, and so on and so forth. And this is such a complex topic. I couldn't even begin to cover all of it. There's a few big things that I do want to touch on, just because I had a client request this topic the other day, and I think it's a really good thing for me to touch on. So, um, there's some things to consider when you're thinking of this topic. So, uh, the biggest difference I see is if somebody is already competing or already living this lifestyle before they meet, and I'm going to talk about spouses first because that's the big one. Spouses are boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Uh, that's the biggie. Is whether you were already in the lifestyle or competing before you met them. That makes a huge difference. If you already were, maybe you can establish some ground rules right off the bat, and just be honest with them. Um, it's tell them, just express to them if it's how important it is to you. This kind of vary person to person, but how important it is to you, and that it's going to be part of your life, probably all of your life, and where you're willing to sacrifice and where you're not willing to sacrifice, or if you're willing to sacrifice at all. I know when Jerica and I met, I was pretty clear. It's like, this is my life. This is what I do. I coach people. This is my income. I go to shows. This is everything. That's I'm a little more excessive than some people. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And the thing is, I was clear about that right up front, and I was honest about it. I that's how it was going to be, and if she was okay with that, or if she welcomed that, that would be great. We were a great pair, and she did, and she likes it, and that works. So it wouldn't work with everybody, and I mean, and if it wasn't going to work, I wasn't gonna force anyone to do anything they didn't want to do, and I wasn't going to change either. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to them. So, in that case, I could establish ground rules right off the bat, and then maybe some other people, they are willing to change a little bit um, for their significant other. Some people are more willing than others, and that's perfectly fine. It's just my point there is that at least if you're in this beforehand, you have a chance to establish some guidelines and ground rules and things that you may want to do or may not want to do, or so on and so forth. So the other end of the spectrum would be people that get involved in bodybuilding or competing or powerlifting or whatever, um, after they're already established with their significant other or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. This gets a little dicier just because, it can be a huge, some people, they get into it and they love it. They get bit by the bug, just like we always talk about, and their partner is not at all, and they want nothing to do with it. And this can get really difficult. This is a this is probably the root of more issues than I've ever run into with anything else when it comes to support, family support, and just relationship issues. I'm being completely transparent here, and will tell you that I've probably had, I don't even know a number, but I mean several divorces a year with clients. Um, I mean, it's not like they're keeping me in the loop and the whole thing and telling me, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. I don't ask. But sometimes I can pick up on things, and sometimes I can't. But it's a problem a lot of the time is that they'll get into a situation where they want to be in this lifestyle, and that they and they love it, and maybe it is benefiting them, and maybe they aren't even losing a sense of balance. Maybe it's not affecting their family life. Let's say that it's not affecting their family life to a large extent. They are eating differently. They're not going to go out to eat every night anymore like they maybe were before, or they are taking time to go to the gym, or they talk about it a lot, and their spouse doesn't want to hear about it because they don't do it, or they are jealous even, or um, the whole fit shaming thing goes on, or they think that their significant other is telling them all this stuff because they're downing them because they don't do it. And I will be honest, most of the time that's not the case from what I've seen. I definitely think it happens. I definitely think there's a point where someone just gets pissed off and they're like, "Look, I would appreciate it if you would also take care of your body. I don't even care if you compete or um, are as strict as me or whatever, but I do think it's important that you take care of your body, and that because I'm finding the value in it myself. And this is a root of a ton of issues, and the how extreme this is. Like I said, it's going to vary person to person how extreme the person gets into this, and what lines they're drawing, and at times it does get to be an obsessive thing to the point where they can't figure out the balance. I mean, I know me personally, obviously I do my own bodybuilding. I coach clients full time. I own a gym. I go to shows. I mean, that's everything, all the time, nonstop. Now, there's no way in hell I could be with somebody that wasn't, into this lifestyle, at least to some extent. Whether they competed or not, I could really care less. There's just no possible way. I couldn't do it. Just because that's pretty much everything to me, so it wouldn't work. And that might not be the case with everyone. And like I said, when you get in these situations where someone's developing these habits after the fact of already being together, then you run into issues, or you can run into issues. Sometimes they get into it together, which is awesome. But I see this being a big issue all the time. It starts out with somebody, kind of getting a little irritated because they just can't understand why their partner isn't into it like they are. Why don't they want to get fit? Why don't they want to get in shape? This is doing so many good things to me. Man, I'm getting blown up over here. I have no idea why. All right, not important. But they just don't understand. So, and then it escalates into them getting kind of frustrated, and then arguments, and then the other partner's like, well, you're just greedy and you're selfish and you're a dick or whatever, and you can pretty much figure it out. I bet you some of you have went through it. So my point there is where, in that kind of situation, where do you draw the line? Where do you stop? Do you separate? I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's big time stuff right there. I'm talking, when I talk about people getting divorced, I'm talking about people who've been together a really long time. And these are, people that are like rediscovering themselves, and they're, maybe it's like a midlife crisis thing, and they're just rediscovering themselves, and they're getting into fitness, and it does a lot of good things for them. And I obviously don't know everything that goes on the inside, but I like to think that the people that I've worked with, that they developed a pretty healthy relationship with this lifestyle, and that um, they've been able to not um, make a negative impact on others around them because of it. I like to think that, and so I like to think that those divorce situations or separation situations weren't caused by bad behavior on their part. Obviously, there's no way to tell, but you know, I can hope that it wasn't. Um, but again, I mean, that's, like I said, that's some really serious stuff right there, and it's it's one of those things where it's just like anything else. There's no point in being with someone if you're not happy with them, and um, it's, I would imagine those two people might be better off in the long run, just because they're living vastly different lives then. And I think that the person just has to really, think, is this just a phase, or is this what I'm going to do my whole life? And that's obviously hard to determine at the time, but that's important. And I always tell them that stuff and talk to them about it a little bit, and kind of give them as much as I can without getting into their business too much. Because again, like I said, that's not really my business, and that's a really serious issue. So I'm not gonna go into it too much. But yeah, guys, this is a really serious topic, and I think that there are probably a lot of you, maybe people watching this, that go through it, and that question things maybe on a daily basis. Um, Whether you're with the right person, because you just don't agree when it comes to this. And I will say that in most cases, it's really, really difficult to establish a lifestyle or a life with somebody that doesn't at least appreciate the lifestyle. I know some people that one of the people in the relationship doesn't compete or doesn't live the lifestyle, and it can work. I'm not saying it can't work. It definitely can work, but it doesn't a lot of the time. I mean, that's just it. It just doesn't. And I do know several people that one partner doesn't compete. They just train, and they are health conscious, and and that works. That can definitely work, and I see it work. And that's understandable. I don't see anything unreasonable about that. That seems to work. But um, that's, like I said, that's huge, guys. I hope if you are in that situation that you can really not shortchange yourself, and really I want everyone to be happy, and I don't want this to happen to anybody, and um, I don't want anyone to feel like they're doing something wrong by parting ways with somebody. Maybe it is the best thing. I'm not going to be the one to say, but just think about it. And the other thing too would be family and friends. This is a big one. I honestly, I would. I mean, everyone's values family a little differently, but like I always say, you don't get to choose your family. I mean, if your family's an asshole to you about it, and you're not, I'm assuming you're not shoving it down their throat, and you're not being an asshole back, then fuck them. They can just piss off or do what, go away. It's whatever. I mean, I don't associate with most of my family just because we just don't get along, and they're assholes, and they just belittle me all the time, and they just don't, whatever. Fine, I don't care. Just want to pick on me about it. That's fine. They can, go away. I really don't care. So, that's that. Family that really loves you they're gonna understand. They're not gonna understand. They might not understand. It's whatever. Who cares if they don't understand? But at least they don't give you problems about it. I know when Jerica and I met, when we first started dating. One of the biggest things for me is when I would go over and meet her parents and or brother and sister and a couple of family members once in a while. No one ever said anything bad about me bringing my meals over, and that was huge. I was like, that was the greatest thing ever. And they actually said, "Hey, do you need space in the refrigerator for keep your meals?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And that I told Jerica that I said, "This is this is huge for me." So it's the family thing is pick and choose your battles. Like I said, you don't get to choose your family. It's if if it's done more harm than good, then you know what, just whatever, just tell them to go away. It's not worth the stress. I assure you that. When it comes to friends, if that's happening with friends, then they're not your friend. That's just plain and simple. They can't understand, then they're not your friend. But at the same time, like I said, it's up to you not to be an asshole about it, not to shove it down their throat, and not to make them uncomfortable like they might be making you uncomfortable. Just talk openly about it. Like, look, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not telling you that you have to do this, and I'm not telling you that you're doing anything wrong, even though you might think they are. But that's beside the point. It's just, and the thing is, I find this too with people and like family outings and stuff is if you find common ground with people, they start realizing that you don't think you're above them. I had one of Jerica's uncles, and he's kind of a goofy dude, and he just this was a couple years ago, and we started talking about I don't remember what the hell it was. I just remember the story stuck in my head because we started talking about lawnmower races, with riding lawnmowers like they do at the fair, just a hillbilly thing, and he's like, holy shit, this muscly dude was talking to me about lawnmower racing. It's like, he said, what the hell? And he huge grin on his face, thought it was the coolest thing ever. It was fun. We were talking, it was good, and ever since then, we've hit it off. It just, you find common ground, and people realize that you don't think that you're above them, because that's honestly what runs through people's head. Let's be real. They think that you're a stuck-up asshole because you do things that they don't do, or you don't eat their food, or whatever. But at the same time, don't be an asshole. Don't make them think that. So I could go on about this all night. We're at almost 18 minutes. You guys probably stopped watching by now, but this is, like I said, it's a really serious topic, and I hope if you guys are going through this, that you can talk to somebody about it, and that you can make a serious decision that might affect the outcome of your entire life. Don't give up a lifestyle that you love because you are trying to please someone else. It says you should please someone else. You should please your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. But at the same time, they should also want to please you, and it's a give and give type of thing. And if it's not going down that way, and you're constantly having to defend yourself and sacrifice to the point that there's no enjoyment and that you're like hiding part of your life, it's not worth it. It's not. So, if you guys have any comments or anything, comment below. I won't go into this any further because I'm not going to give anyone's personal situations, and frankly, this is very, very personal. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope this topic hits home to you guys. Feel free to comment. Might have already just said that, but hope you guys have a good night.